everyone, and welcome to TTALK101. I'm your host, Kennidi Monroe, and on this week's episode, we're going to talk about how do you come out? How do you come out? In so many different ways, people want to know how they can come out authentically, how they can be themselves. I'm just going to give a little bit of my advice on how I came out, and I had to come out twice, so I'll tell that story. But also, if you're just struggling, if there's a part of you that needs to come out, and how do you tell the people you love that that's part of you, and how do you deal with it moving on? So we're going to talk about that this week. And we're also going to talk about episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 13, and also episode 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK. I'm so excited. So stay tuned right here for Tea Talk 101. Okay, everybody. So, this question was brought up to me by someone who follows me because I asked for questions about what can I talk about on my podcast. I needed some ideas, and someone asked me, how can I bring out my other self? And I had to ask them questions. So they were really asking me, like, how do I tell my partner? How do I, and I asked, had this part of you ever been exposed before? And they basically told me, no, they are locked. That part of them is locked up in a closet. And so that really kind of like bothered me in a sense that someone is living their life, married to someone, in a committed relationship with someone, but part of them is locked away in hiding. Some part of them is yearning to come out, but they're scared to come out. And it really just brought back memories. So my first time that I came out, I was about 15. I'm pretty sure I was 15. I was in high school. And that summer, in August, I would turn 16. So that summer, I went to thespian camp in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a drama type society club that you go to. And so I went to Lincoln, Nebraska with 2 of my best friends from high school. We went on a bus with another school that was bigger than our school. We rode with them. And right when we got on that bus, all the kids just were so different than us. Oh, I went to if you don't know, I'm from a small Baptist town outside of Houston, Texas, and basically the whole town, the school district is ran basically by what the Baptist church in town will let happen. So like we couldn't do some things on stage in theater because we couldn't hurt the feelings of the Baptist church. So that was the kind of whole lifestyle I lived in as a kid. I didn't grow up as a Baptist, so I grew up in a town outside of that, but my school district was in that town, so I really never really lived in that town. I just went to school in that town with a bunch of kids that went to that church, but I grew up Methodist, a little more liberal. But so we get on this bus with these kids going to Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, we get on the bus not knowing anybody. We're kind of scared, kind of nervous, so we're sticking together, us 3. It's my best friend, Donnie, my other best friend, Dawn, and it's us 2 boys and her. And Dawn came into our lives very uniquely as well, because she was from a different school district that was closer to the city, and she had a gothic, edgy look. She was very alternative. So being exposed to her really helped me open my eyes to discovering who I was when it came to fashion, thrift store, stuff like that. So it was really, really awesome going to Lincoln, Nebraska with these 2 people. Johnny, my other best friend, he was my best friend, and we were both gay. Like, literally, like, everybody knew we were gay. People called us gay, but we didn't know we were gay, I guess, at the time. But we were best friends. And he was more of the jock, not really jock, but more of the preppy. But he was a theater kid. He was a suck up. Sorry, Donnie, if you listen to this. I love you. But he was a suck up, and he was the good kid, and then I guess I was the bad kid, and then Dawn, she was just the alternative um witchy type girl. She introduced me to Marilyn Manson, if that tells you something. And the Renaissance Fair. So we get on this bus, and like there's like, by the time we get out of the Texas or close to Texas, like we're on the bus for a while, we start noticing these kids are a lot different. Like they're very open about themselves. Like they just let themselves be free. And it was so interesting and so beautiful. Like there was girls kissing on girls, and there was boys holding hands and all this stuff. And this is in the 90s. And I was like, what is going on? So we get to Lincoln, Nebraska, and we get off the bus. So they drop the boys off at one dorm because we're on the campus of Nebraska, University of Nebraska in Lincoln. And so we get off the bus, and they drop off the girls first. They drop off the girls, and then they drop off the boys. And so me and Donnie got off this bus, and we just look around. I mean, there was kids with crazy colored hair. There was skating. There was guys holding hands, girls holding hands. It was just like this whole world that we stepped into that we would never stepped into before. Like we had never seen any of this. We never saw any of this on TV. This was so new and iconic to us, and it was like crazy that we were even being exposed to this. Like if our parents knew where we were sent, they would never let us go back again. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. And I don't know how I got there because we were poor. I think my grandma helped pay for it. My grandparents helped pay for it because I really wanted to go. And, but it was the only time I ever went to that convention. I went to state thespian conventions, but that was the only time I went to an international thespian convention. And let me tell you, my eyes opened. I fell in love with a boy. Don't know why, but I got introduced to ska music. You know, like the original ska music, like No Doubt before No Doubt became popular. That kind of stuff. And Mighty Mighty Bosstones. I mean, Mighty Mighty Bosstones were very like pop. So a lot of people that were into ska would probably say they're like the pop version of what it is. But this boy with pink hair, I called him Pinky. He had pink hair. He looked like a young Richard Gere with pink hair. And I was in love. He skateboarded, and I would just watch him skateboard. And I learned so much about my sexuality then with him. He showed me things I never even knew existed. Well, I knew some stuff because of what happened to me as a younger kid, but like I didn't know it was okay to do it or what it was like. But it just felt right. Like I wasn't being forced to do something. And that week was just magical for us. I remember one night, because we shared a bathroom. The dorm shared a bathroom for whatever floor you were on. You were shared a bathroom. So I always had problems going to the bathroom with other people, especially taking a shower. So I would wait till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to go take my shower because I didn't want to be in there with anybody else. And that probably stems from me being trans and not comfortable in my body. But at the time I didn't know that. I just thought I had a fear of being around people, because now I'm like, I can go into ladies' locker room at the gym and not give a fuck. But at that time, that's how it was. It was like, it was me knowing that these parts of me existed, but I just didn't know how to express them or tell them. And it's just insane and crazy to think that that's probably why I had a phobia being in a bathroom, especially being in a bathroom with a bunch of boys. Maybe that was an issue as well. I mean, I know I had issues in the locker room, in gym, and athletics. So I know it was really and it all stems from all those sort of things. But one night, me and Donnie were sitting in the dorm. I had just came out of the shower, and it was after spending time with Pinky. earlier that night. You know what? I can't remember his name for the life of me. I mean, he really touched me in so many ways. And he taught me so much stuff. So I came back to the dorm, told Donnie, hey, Donnie, I got something to tell you. I just need to tell you that I'm gay. And I think I'm coming out when I go back home. I mean, I know I'm coming back out. I met this guy and really like him. So then Johnny confesses to me the same exact thing, but with somebody else. And it was just like this whole like revolution between us two. And so after that week, we knew we could not go back home and not live our lives or our truth in that sense. So when we came back out and went back to school, we came out. Like my drama teacher will tell the story that we came out and we knocked down the closet doors, broke the hinges and all. Like literally. So me and Donnie were just like having fun, being bad, being crazy, being out loud, being landish, and we got in trouble a couple times. A lot of people blamed me for the way Donnie was acting, but the reality is Donnie was just finally just being free, and everybody just assumed I was the one influencing him. And I wasn't. We were living freely and authentically as ourselves, and it was so beautiful. Like we were two kids just having so much fun, and it was so exciting. So I couldn't figure out how to come out. I almost like tried to kill myself because I was just like, I gotta come out. I gotta come out. I mean, I had struggles, and finally, I just told my aunt, "Hey," I thought my aunt was the closest one to tell. I was like, "I'm gay." And then she told my grandma, and my grandma talked to me and then talked to my dad, and it was this whole situation, but it was just something you just didn't talk about. It was like, okay, you're gay. We kind of already knew that. So, we're just not going to talk about it. And that's how it went for a long time. So fast forward to having a coming out again as trans. So I confided in my mother. If you know from my past episode, I wasn't raised by my mother, but as an adult, I got close to my mother, and I told her that I'm trans after just dealing with meeting trans women and really discovering that I was trans. I told her I was trans, and she told me, you know what, if you come out, your whole family would disown you. And I loved my family because, like, my sisters were like my whole world. And I was like, my one sister, I was basically her parent. So I didn't want that to be something that I lost. And so I secretly started transitioning, started taking hormones, and I eventually went to cosmetology school so I can get a job somewhere else and that would accept me transitioning. So went to cosmetology school, got a job at a salon in Nevada in Chicago suburbs, started working there. When I got to Chicago, and I was very androgynous already by the time I got out of cosmetology school, some people didn't know if I was a girl or a boy because the way I dressed, how my hair was. And so I was working at the salon, and my boss goes, I'm having an issue with my clients not knowing what to refer to you as. And this was, early 2000s. She's like, I need to know if you're going to, she's like, I know you didn't come to Chicago for some boy, because I told everybody I came to Chicago for a boy. I did date a guy that was there, but he wasn't the reason I went there. After going to Chicago, I just fell in love with that and said, this is where I want to live. And I told her no. And she says, do you want to be a boy or a girl? And I said, I want to be a girl. And she said, okay, don't come back in here ever again in boy clothes. Come as a girl, and we'll deal with your transition as you want it. Because I was already being called Kennedy. I wasn't being called my birth name. So it just all just fit right. It was like I needed that angel to tell me, hey, it's okay to be you. And we need those people. She saved my life. She saved my life. I've told her daughters, we don't talk. We had a falling out a long time ago when her salon closed. I was in a weird state, And I just pushed her out of my life. But I told her daughters, because I still communicate with her daughters, and I told them, let her know that she saved my life. She's an amazing person, and I owe everything to her. So, listen to me, coming out really can change your life. And sometimes you need those people that just go, hey, it's okay. It's okay. So I lived as Kennedy for like 3 or 4 years before I actually came out to my actual family. Um, I came out to my grandma in a letter, and then she told everybody else, and she confided in the pastor at her church about what to do about me. And he basically told her that God made me this way, and that, you know, she confided in him when I came out as gay, and then she confided in him when I came out as trans. And the more she dove into things, she realized that I was always trans. And I asked her stories, and maybe one time I'm planning to do a video of her telling me stories about me being a kid, and about the conversations she had with my dad about me. Because she tells me that they always used to just call me a sissy. They didn't know what trans was. Um, but it all makes sense now as we're older. We're like looking at things, and she's like, it all makes sense. And I want to do a video where I have her talking before she's gone about all that, because she has some really good stories about me too. And there's some haunting home videos that my aunt has, and my dad. So one day I'll unleash them for you all. But when it comes to coming out, those are my two coming out stories. But both times someone that I've come out, someone that I care about or loved, or an angel was sent there to help me in my time. And so if you're struggling to come out as trans or gay or non-binary or any of those things, you gotta find that friend, that person you love that understands you and will love you no matter what. And sometimes we think the worst things in the world when we're thinking about coming out. We're like, oh my God, everybody's gonna disown me, and we're else. And the reality is that we make it so much worse than what it actually is. And of course, some people do not accept you, and you have to deal with it, and it comes with time. But just know that if you're authentic to yourself, and when you're ready, and you have a support system around you that's ready, then you can do it. Okay? I did it twice. So you can do it too. Um, but just remember that you're loved, you're valid, and you're beautiful, and you're authentically you. And never forget that. Um, one last. So now we're going to go into RuPaul's Drag Race. So we're going to start off with RuPaul's Drag Race, the UK season 2, episode 1. Oh my God. I love the UK. I love Canada's Drag Race. I love UK. I'm so excited that UK is back. I already have a lot of girls that I'm just like loving. But the two Scottish girls who were in the top, who are just my favorites. Just my favorites. I also like the wacky ones. I just love it more. And once I dive into it, I'm going to talk more about UK's Drag Race. But I'm just going to let you know, I love it. I love it. They say cuss words on their TVs, and it's fabulous. Okay? It's just fabulous. If you haven't had a chance to watch it and you live in the United States, go download the Wow Presents app, and watch it. It's worth it for like whatever, $4.99 a month or something like that, $3.99 a month. It's worth it. Okay. But let's go to season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race in the United States, episode 3. Oh my God, we got to see the pork chop girls compete. And you know what? I thought maybe I'm not going to be a fan of rosés. And I'm a fan of rosés. I had a feeling that she would be a lot like Jan, even though I like Jan. in her season, she annoyed me a little bit. And what I liked about in the confession and Untucked, you hear Rose say maybe it was a good thing that I was eliminated to the pork chop because my ego was not stroked, and I had to, like, talk to myself, and I think that's an amazing thing. And so I'm just so excited about this season. I like the girls. I can't wait till next week to see Gottmik again. I love it. Tamisha Iman, the mother, the goddess. She's legendary, so legendary. Tamisha Iman, I love you, girl. She's just everything, and I want to see her grow. I want to see her not be the pageant girl, but be the queen that she is. I know it. And I really like Utica. I like the Strange Girls. Every season I love the Strange Girls. I love Sasha Velour. I loved Evie Oddly. I loved Thorgy Thor. And Utica reminds me a lot of Thorgy Thor in a sense. So I'm excited to see what happens. I didn't understand what her religion was. I know she's Christian, but she's Seventh Day something. But we'll see how further it goes. But I'm just excited. I just love watching drag. So if you want to watch Drag Race with me, and if you follow me on Snapchat, we'll chat about Drag Race. Just follow me on Snapchat at Kennidi Monroe. You can get all my socials in the description of this video or this podcast. It will hit that link and you can get all my socials and follow me. I just want to thank you all for a wonderful week. I cannot wait till next week. And make sure, if you want to check out any of my makeup videos or anything like that, check out my YouTube channel and see some of the original TTALK101 episodes on YouTube, where it was called Tranny Talk. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. And thank you for tuning in right here on TTALK101. Until next time, goodbye.